been being mean to each other for 50 years. You're probably a scrapper, weren't you?
Sort of.
Me? Yeah.
Okay. You know how that goes.
Yep.
So you badmouth them for a long time. You convince all your friends that you're the meanest woman on the block. They're a big sissy, and if you ever catch up with them, you're going to kill them, right?
Sure.
Sort of like that.
That's the same thing that's happening back then. So, clear back from revolutionary times, they didn't want a standing army. Standing armies tend to overthrow the government.
They didn't want that. So they only had 16,000 guys in the army. So all of a sudden, these two kids are face to face. So Lincoln says, look, I need 75,000 men. So thousands and thousands show up. Here in Iowa, they want 1,000. That's all they want. 15,000 guys show up. They have to send them all, most of them home. Later on, they regret that. So throughout the country, then it goes from 75,000 to 300,000 to 400,000. Does anybody know what that means? That means you've got 287,000 guys, or 387,000 guys who don't have a clue as to what they're doing. Heavily armed, out in the field. They have no way to outfit them, they have no way to get them guns, so they get them from Europe. So, we all volunteer. So the first thing we have to do is figure out left from right. Most of these guys are farm boys. They have no need for left and right. They know from northeast, south, and west. So, this sterling gentleman here, what we do with him, now he's a city boy, so he knows that. The next guy in line, we have to work with him. So, in order to get him to know left from right, he does know hay from straw. So we're going to put a sprig of hay in one foot and a sprig of straw in the other one. So when we drill him, it's going to be hay foot, straw foot, till sooner or later he figures out that's his left and his right. This is the state of affairs back then. Okay. So, come out here, my lad. Okay. So we're just going to do a quick manual of arms. Okay, this is what they had to have some way to carry these guns. Okay. Shoulder, arms. We'll see if this actually works. Okay. Right shoulder, shift. If you were going to run, this is the way you'd run. As goofy as that looks, it actually works. Because if you're carrying that gun down and there's 400 or 500 of you, you trip, you skewer the next two guys in front of you.
Especially if the bayonets were attached.
Yes. Okay. Support, arms. Okay. Order, arms. All right. Anyway, that's what they do. They had to keep them busy in camp. They had no USOs. They had no nothing back then. All right. When a battle starts, now this is what they're training them for. These guys figure they're nuts. They just want to go down to Missouri, punch somebody in the mouth, come home, and be done with it. So they don't know why they're marching. They don't know why they're doing this. Just let us go. They're being led by officers who have no idea. They've never been an officer. They elect them. So if you're popular, you win the prize. That doesn't mean you know anything, but you win the prize. A lot of these guys don't last. So the battle's going to start. You're going to have cannon about 3/4 of a mile that way. You're going to have cannon sitting here. The first thing they'll do is going to find the high ground. The cavalry's been out running around, and they can be within 4 or 5 miles of another. An army of 20,000 guys, and they really don't know where they're at. Cavalry, unlike John Wayne, doesn't fight infantry. They'd all die. Okay, horses make great big targets. These weapons are accurate at 300 yards. They'll kill at 800. Horse is not going to stand a chance with one of these. They're modern weapons. They have rifling now. Before they didn't. So they've increased the range by 3, and they're handing it to guys who have never seen one before. Okay. In fact, at Shiloh, which was one of Iowa's first big battles, the guys who are getting off the boat while the battle's going on over there, they hand them the first musket they've seen. Okay, that's kind of the state of affairs. So the cannons are going to open up on one another, trying to knock each other out. Meanwhile, we're going to try to figure out where they're at. So the first thing we're going to do is go out and skirmish order. Count off by 2s. 1, 2, 1, 2. First platoon. Shoulder, arms. In skirmish order at 5-yard intervals. Forward, march. What they're going to do is spread out all over this field. The Confederates on the other side are going to be doing the same thing. They're feeling around trying to figure out where anybody's at. These guys are going to fire. Go ahead and pretend. Okay? We'll let whoever wants to shoot when we get done. Okay, second platoon, forward, march. So they're spread out. Sooner or later they bump into the other guys. And when they bump into the other guys, whoever is the biggest and baddest of the two, the other side runs back. They both run back and go, they're over there, they're over there. Then they bring up everybody else. Okay? Okay, in the retreat, march. You notice these guys advance and they're not going to fire until the back row. So you've always got guns loaded facing the enemy. All right? Okay, skirmish. In the retreat. Well, if they were in the field, the battlefield was a mess. I'm sorry, I whacked you guys up. Battlefield was a mess, unlike what you see in the movies and and even in the magazines back then. Nothing but a pall of smoke, no matter where you go. All right, so you could see maybe 2 or 3 guys down the line. All you'd see across the way, maybe 800, 700 yards away, is just little like ant figures. So they're going to do one of 2 things, and they're in line. The idea was you're going to fire, and you're bound to hit something. So we're just going to go bang. We're going to do a volley fire. At the ready, aim, fire, boom. All right, that should sound like 1 gunshot. Or, if we wanted to keep loaded, you'd have 100 men in a line, a company. All right, and we would also do something like a chain fire. Okay, so you're going to fire by file, so it's like a machine gun. Boom, 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 boom. So by the time the guy on the end now shoots his gun, the guy on the other end is loaded. And that fire just keeps rippling. So it keeps... You could probably load about 3 times a minute. Now you're probably not going to hit much, but you could do it that fast. You have to kind of understand. It's a long psychology story. Some people would never fire. Some people would fire up in the air. They'd use all their ammunition. It all depends what your frame was. When you're going out, you're all keyed up. You're either scared to death or you just want to get in there and shoot somebody. So once you get out there, they said, you lose all fear. You just want to go do it. Get it over with. Adrenaline's pumping. Okay, so you got to get them out there. If you were out in the middle of a field, this line gets all spread out. So the sergeant, you have to keep him in some sort of a group to get him there. All right, what I'm going to have you do is fall in on me. Fall in on the line of battle on the sergeant. That's a double quick. And they would know enough to get back in this straight line, and now you're ready to go face the enemy again. Okay? 4 steps back. Okay, now you also have to get them there. If they were going to march down a road like this, most of those roads you could only march 4 across. That's as big as a cart was. So you didn't have passing lanes and all that sort of stuff. So they would march in groups of 4. But for instance, if all of a sudden we're going down a road like this, you guys appear on our left, because I know you're heavily armed, right?
Yeah.
Not you, I'm talking to her now.
I'm heavily armed.
I talk to other people than you. Okay, they could easily do a number of things, one of which is a wheel. Okay, so we're going to wheel into you. All right, company by the left wheel. Forward, march. Shoulder to shoulder, nice straight line, company halt. Now, once again, unlike what you see in the movies, there was a thing, if you're going to charge. Okay? And you come across a field. So at that point, does it have bayonets on? Okay, so we're not, 3 steps back, march. Don't want to poke anybody. Okay, and the way that would work, you keep in mind, you have at least 2,000 to 3,000 guys in this line. So the Johnnies are on the other side, and they're hooting and hollering and screaming. They said it was really blood chilling. The Union, when they did that kind of stuff, a guttural. That comes out of 4,000 or 5,000 guys. You got to kind of wonder what's going on. Okay, so they would get the command. Company, we're going to do charge bayonets. Company, charge bayonets. All right, multiply that by 200 to 300. Then pretend like you're not staring down that bayonet. Okay? They use these as terror weapons. If you got close enough to use one of these, you were way the heck too close. Okay? But a lot of these, when they're in battles and stuff like that, they make them put them on, they make them shine them up. because you can see them from a long ways away. Getting shot was one thing, getting stabbed with one of these bayonets a whole different deal, okay? So they're trying to terrorize them. And a lot of these diaries and stuff, they talk about the gleaming bayonets, okay? All right, something else we should do? Okay, that's the quick and dirty version of drill. That would have gone on and on and on until these guys, it's automatic. When they learn how to load, they learn how to do it 9 times, okay? You don't think about anything. When you go into camp, unlike what you see on TV, I couldn't stand here and do this in front of 100 guys for very long. Everything was done by bugle or drum. So if you heard dot, 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 for instance, that meant you're all supposed to get in a group. Very seldom is the sergeant, unless he's very close to him, going to actually talk to him. It's all going to be done by drum or bugle, because otherwise you can't hear it anyway. And the big deal with the flags, it was a matter of pride, but it's also on those fields where you've just got a mess. You knew exactly what your flag looked like, and you knew you were supposed to be by it. So it's one of the few things you could actually see out in the field. So that's why they were very, very protective, if they could be, of these flag carriers. But the flag carriers didn't have a very long life expectancy, okay, because the other side's going to try to shoot them, take that flag, or at least knock it down and try to create some confusion, okay? With that, we could go on forever, but I'm not going to. Is there any questions? It was either that good or that bad. We were good. We were good, they said. Okay. All right. Now, what we will do, if you'd like, if somebody hasn't shot one of these, see one of these kind gentlemen, they will fix you up. We're going to go out here someplace. And there's a nice man, if you talk real nice to him, maybe you get your picture in the paper. But he'd lie to you, too, so... You know how those newspaper guys.
Yeah, Jim.
All right.
So is that